Matt was very, very clear saying he wanted to make this is a detective story, that right from the beginning. And so you think, okay, so he's the greatest detective in the world. What makes a good detective? Someone who just is exceptionally observant.
I always think of filmmaking as a kind of, you're going on a search, and you're searching for the things that stick with you. On this movie, what started the process was I just started reading comic books. I went back to 1939, and I just basically did a deep dive in the comics, and anything connected, I just wrote down. Basically, what the notebook is for me is a way to have a dialogue with myself, because otherwise I would just be saying these things and then I wouldn't remember anything. But if I write it down and then I keep revisiting it, I start having a kind of document that shows what I'm interested in and what things, sort of struck a chord with me, and eventually a story starts to emerge. I gave Bruce a notebook as well because I felt that he needed to have that kind of dialogue with himself, and I thought, wow, this is so Batman.
Matt gave us a sort of idea that he'd like him to be a bit like Kurt Cobain. So from that, I looked at lots of different images of Kurt Cobain and what the crossover was, who he becomes when he takes his cowl off. And the whole Kurt Cobain black eye makeup sort of really struck me, and I liked the idea that he had the remains of his Batman makeup on, and it looked very rock and roll.
He spends a lot of time in darkness. That long hair really helped with creating that side of his character. At one stage, we were talking about shaving all his hair off, and I'm glad we didn't go down that road.
There's a film by Gus Van Sant called Last Days, which is kind of a fictionalized account of the last days of Kurt Cobain, and he's got all his stuff spread all over it. And I thought, well, this is the version of Batman and Bruce Wayne that I understand.
I knew where he was coming from in this kind of slightly nihilistic...
You know who I am? You're Bruce Wayne. I want to see